House Party.
When the blues was just a baby and you were looking for some fun, you just pick somebody's crib and spread the word to everyone. Put a bottle on the table and a tip jar on the floor. Before the chitlins started sizzling, they were knocking at the door. House party, gonna play some down home blues. House party, better wear some dancing shoes. House party, gonna throw down Delta style. Sit back, relax, take off your hat. Gonna be here for a while. Clarksdale House Party, Clarksdale House Party, Clarksdale House Party. Y'all come on in. All right, it's the Clarksdale House Party. Hello, ladies and gentlemen, here and all around the world on XRDS FM and right here at 88.1 FM in Clarksdale, Mississippi. Welcome, welcome. I'm your host, Gary Vincent, and I'd like to welcome you to the Clarksdale Soundstage, home of the Clarksdale House Party. Where's my light? We got a great show tonight. In the house, we have Lucious Spiller. Also in the house, we have Meghan Maike. All right, we have Roger Stolle. Ellis Darby. So sit back, relax, enjoy yourselves. I'm going to play you a brand new song. No one's heard it yet, except for my wife, over and over and over again. Yeah, but you're sick of it, aren't you, honey? All right, this is my maiden voyage on this song. I got a cute little sister-in-law, married to my brother up in Arkansas. When we get together, she pretends she doesn't want me around. Says I'm lazy, stupid too, calls me a fool, but who's fooling who? 'Cause I know why she goes crazy when I come to town. She's got a thing for me, yeah she does. Serious case of brother-in-law puppy love. When she snarls and growls and treats me mean, it's just her way of saying that she's sweet on me. It's so plain to see that a woman's got a thing for me. Last December around Christmas time, stopped in with some cheese and a bottle of wine. When she came to the door, she was loading up a 12-gauge gun. She said, take your government cheese and your Ripple wine, and buddy, you can stick it where the sun don't shine. 'Cause I'm gonna count to 3 and I suggest you run. She's got a thing for me, yeah she does. Serious case of that brother-in-law puppy love. When she snarls and growls and treats me mean, it's just her way of saying that she's sweet on me. It's so plain to see that a woman's got a thing for me. serious case of brother-in-law puppy love. When she snarls and growls and treats me mean, it's just a way of saying that she's sweet on me. It's so plain to see that a woman's got a thing for me. Yeah, it's so plain to see that a woman's got a thing for me. Well, I got through it. So, man, I'm so happy to announce this next guy. I heard him for the first time at Reds, and I was blown away, man. He is so good. What a great singer and great guitar player. We are really lucky because Lucious Spiller, when I first heard him, lived somewhere else, and now he's moved to town. He's actually a Clarksdale resident. So, ladies and gentlemen, without any further ado, please put your hands together and welcome Lucious Spiller.
Walk with me, Lord. Walk with me. Walk with me, Lord. Please walk with me while I'm on this teacher's journey. Walk with me, Lord. Please walk with me. Hold my hand, Lord. Hold my hand. Hold my hand, Lord. Please hold my hand while I'm on this teacher's journey. Walk with me, Lord. Please walk with me. Here's one of my originals from my acoustic blues CD, which I have available. Born to Sing the Blues is the name of the disc, and here's a song from it, original song called You Hurt Me. I said you hurt me for the last time. I said you hurt me for the last time. Yeah. And if I let you hurt me again, I'll go stone out my mind. The day you left me, baby, cried so hard I couldn't see. The day you left me, cried so hard I couldn't see. I thought I had her love forever, but she made a big fool out of me. I said you for the last time. And if I let you hurt me again, I'll go stone out my mind. Once again, my name is Lucious. Welcome out. I'm going to do a songwriter special request from Gary Vincent Party. I didn't know he liked really. So check it out. Baby, have the woman's eyes. I can feel you watching in the night. Come along with me. Waiting for sunlight. When I feel cold, you want me. And when I feel I can't go on, you're coming home me. 'Cause it's you and me forever. Sarah, smile. Why don't you smile and welcome for me, Sarah? If you feel like leaving, you know you can go. Why don't you wait until tomorrow? If you wanna be free, you know all you got to do is say so. When you feel cold, I want you. And when you feel you can't go on, I'm coming hold you. 'Cause it's you and me forever. Sarah, smile. Why don't you smile a while for me, Sarah? Sarah, smile. Why don't you smile a while for me, Sarah? Sarah, smile. Thank you.
How cool is that, man? I want you guys to look over that direction there, that beautiful woman sitting behind my organ. That sounds funny, doesn't it? That's Meghan Maike, and she's going to get up and perform in a little bit, but for right now, she's our interviewer, and she's going to ask Lucious a few questions. And hey, and before we begin, can we have a hand for the beautiful Gary Vincent sitting right? And that other good-looking devil walking around with the camera, that's Coop Cooper behind that camera there. So. Thanks, Coop. And let's not forget Mark back at the door. She's making sure everybody gets their beer and their wine. Pardon? And Bailey is Snapchatting as we speak. She's Snapchatting around the world. I bet even in Merida, Mexico, they're like checking it out right now. All right, guys.
Right on. Well, thank you so much. Thanks everybody for coming out, and special thanks to Lucious Spiller for playing for us tonight.
Welcome.
We're really lucky here in Clarksdale. We get to see Lucious all the time at Red's Lounge. And for everybody listening on the radio when this gets aired, we're going to talk a little bit about how he landed in Clarksdale. So you're not from Clarksdale originally. Where did you grow up?
In St. Louis, Missouri, out in University City. First, like suburb outside of St. Louis.
And did you, were you always playing music while you were growing up? Did you get into it really early?
Yeah, there was always music around our household. Plus my family, which I have roots here in Mississippi.
They're kind of legends, right?
Well, kind of, sort of. Right?
You're kind of a big deal.
No, kind of. Yeah, they have a blues trail marker down in Noxubee County in Macon, and it's called Black Prairie Blues. And it was like my grandpa Spiller, like in the early 1900s, they had a band, him and his brother and his nephew, called Preston Spiller and Doc Spiller, called the Salt and Pepper Shakers, and they used to, go around to different plantations, I guess, playing parties for. It's just I grew up around.
Can you tell me? I just don't really know what the Black Prairie Blues like. Is that because it like what makes that a genre or like a style?
I think I'm not exactly 99% sure.
We'll take that as gospel.
I guess like during that period is when they were mixing country and blues. When Muddy Waters said the blues had a baby and called it rock and roll. If you listen closely to all genres of music, the blues is present there, and pretty much all music comes from the blues. I guess you say modern or contemporary.
Yeah.
Because I guess Bach and Beethoven, they didn't know nothing about the blues.
So, now, did you start out playing blues music, or did you kind of go into different genres, and then how did you end up as a blues musician?
I went to college in Arkansas, and I had a cover band, Lucious Spiller band, and we played a bunch of Prince covers and stuff, so we were very popular. And just one day I woke up and I just got tired of played kids, played it, I was doing well financially as far as being a true artist, but it wasn't, it
wasn't your voice.
It wasn't my soul. It wasn't in my heart. Don't get me wrong. I still love to play, all that. But once I went back to, what I was feeling, because if it was about money, I'd have quit a long time ago. It's just kind of hard because all my fans that like the cover stuff, they stopped coming to the shows because I was going, trudging on with the blues, no matter, And I realized that, I would lose a lot of, different fans and stuff because a lot of people say they don't care for the blues, but like I said, if you can't pay your bills, you got the blues, so I don't know, so I went on, so that's when I decided, I say, man, let me go somewhere where like the blues is really, happening. Clarksdale is becoming the epicenter for the blues of the world, the epicenter of the world, actually, because people here, just different people here on a daily basis from all over the world, and I don't know, it's like you don't have to go to a show and worry about if I play my blues or if people going.
Well, like you said, there is so much blues woven into other genres of music, so you can be a blues player and still kind of branch out a little bit, and it all still holds together.
Yeah, pretty much so, because a lot of people been like, trying to be blues purists, and like I say, they just don't really understand what he meant by blues had a baby and called it rock and roll.
It's all in the family.
Yeah.
Well, we definitely enjoyed your performance here earlier, and everybody can keep an eye out for when Lucious Spiller is playing all around town and doing some gigs out of town as well. Do you have, how do we find out about your gigs?
I guess Roger, all about town.
Roger Stolle and the Sounds Around Town.
Yes.
One
more thing.
Okay, one more thing.
I got an NPR, I guess, episode coming out. I'm not exactly sure, but I'll keep everybody. Just keep up with me on Facebook.
Nice.
Just,
We'll definitely be listening to the NPR piece. Congratulations on that. That's awesome. Thank you.
Wow. This would be good for chicken picking. They say she came off of a farm in Clarksdale, Mississippi. Place was too small for her. Well, one day she just up and flew the coop without a word. All the roosters were sad to see her go, but all the hens were happy she was gone. She left a flock of broken hearts and a hen house of pissed off birds. She was a wild corn licking, sipping Mississippi hippie chicken, hard breaking, hell raising, mean tail, feather shaking, eye peeling, cock stealing, sex appealing, flirting, tart. But bless her little chicken heart. There was a Texas free ranger who was flirting with danger, thought he'd steal her heart away. So one day he found out she was clucking around with homesick James. Well, he cried like a chick for a week or so, knew he was always gonna be her slave. Yeah, the bird's gonna fly, hell, it's in her DNA. She was a wild child, party chicken, half-your-breasted, hiney kicking, boot scooting, booty moving, rock and rolling, hoochie cooing, sweet talking, sexy walking, honky tonking, work of art. Bless her little chicken heart. CIA. She had a fling with a Rooski and the chicken duty hit the fan. After deep interrogation for the good of the nation, Edward Hoover sealed the files in the end. It could have been foul play, cause no one ever saw her again. She was a wild corn licking, sipping Mississippi hippie chicken, heartbreaking, hell raising, mean tail, feather shaped, eye peeling, cock stealing, sex appealing, flirting and tar. She was a wild child, party chicken, hefty breasted, hiney kicking, boot scooting, booty moving, had a fling with Vladdy Putin, sweet talking, sexy walking, hocking, talking, work of art. Oh, bless her little chicken heart, chicken heart. Yeah, bless her little chicken heart, chicken heart. Hey, man. Ellis Darby, get out of here, Ellis Darby. Woo. Thank you. Nice chicken picking, dude. Ladies and gentlemen, this is one of my favorite guys. One time, he gave me a call. He said, "Oh, you want to go see ZZ Top?" And I was like, "Yeah, I love ZZ Top, man." No, so we go to see ZZ Top. I thought he meant just to see ZZ. He meant go hang out with him. So we go to this show in Tunica County. Where was that? That was South Haven, right?
Yeah, South Haven.
Yeah, and man, he walks in the damn door and Billy Gibbons is there. There's 300 people waiting to get a signature, you know, I mean, and signed autograph. He walks in the door. Billy gets up and goes, "Ellis!" Walks away from the whole 300 people. Oh, where'd he go? We went back and sat on the bus for like 3 hours with him. So, one of Billy's best friends right here, Ellis Darby.
Thank you. Glad to be here. Good to be back. And your former mayor, John Mayo, used to say that he introduced me to Billy Gibbons, but no, it didn't happen that way. Chicken Heart. Zach Brown and Jimmy Buffett don't have anything on him. Gary Vincent and those quick lyrics, man, I just that's something. Well, a big hello to all you Delta dwellers and the Delta dreamers out there in Radio Land listening in on XRDS FM. I'd like to start out with a short read from a great book. Came out 2 years ago. Anybody recognize it? Dispatches from Pluto. Richard Grant, an Englishman, had been toying with the idea of moving down here. And he met, back in Oxford, he met Martha Foose, a food writer and quite a gal. I'm going to read to you from his prologue. I first met Martha a few years ago in Oxford, Mississippi, the elegant, cultured, slightly dissolute university town in the northern hills of the state, where William Faulkner lived most of his life. I'd stumbled across Oxford while interviewing elderly blues singers in the mid-1990s, fallen under its charms, and visited regularly ever since. He goes on to describe the experience of being here. I'd been toying with the idea of living in Mississippi and writing about it for a long time. I liked the food, the music, the warmth of the culture, the easy conviviality, and the drawling repartee. Most of all, I liked the storytelling. It was an integral part of the life here, and an art form respected by all levels of society, and the stories themselves got so wild and improbable. They burned with a strange fever and made a mockery of the usual standards of cause and effect. They were a window into a place and a culture where contradictions hung in the air like swamp gas, and eccentricity was as natural as rain. Lyndon Johnson said, "There's America, there's the South, and then there's Mississippi." Richard Grant, Dispatches from Pluto. Pluto's the name of a plantation that Martha Foose's family owned there. And quite a story. If you hadn't read it, please get it and enjoy it. You will. Now I'm going to go into what happened in July around here over the years, And we're going back to the 19th century. 1887 was the year that the one-race town of Mound Bayou, Mississippi was founded. And it was founded by two cousins, Isaiah Montgomery and Benjamin Green. Both of them were slaves. 5 years later, and this is not that long ago, I'm 68, and this was twice my age ago, Mississippi John Hurt was born in Teoc, raised up across the Sharkey Bayou in Avalon, Mississippi. Everybody knows where that is. Both of those places are just north of Greenwood in LaFleur County, Carroll County probably. Teoc, of interest in recent presidential elections, Senator John McCain's great-great-grandfather, William Alexander McCain, was living on and operating the Teoc plantation there back in the Civil War days. Because of John Hurt's disposition, he was known as many times as Sweet Mississippi John Hurt. He does have beautiful vocals. 5 years later, William Faulkner was born, allegedly over there in Yoknapatawpha County with all those Compsons and Snopeses. Into the 20th century, 1902, Willie Dixon was born in Vicksburg. He stayed there for a few years and found some vocal groups to sing with and started playing the drums, and then he went to the bass guitar. He later on went to Chicago, and not many people know this. I was in Chicago last weekend, and I was really had a good time visiting with his great-grandson. He said his grandfather was, when he moved up there, he was a boxer, and he won the Golden Gloves heavyweight championship for the state of Illinois. One of the people that met him at the gym told him he needed to be in the music business. He heard him singing. And Willie Dixon was one of the best writers that ever came down the road at Chess Records and Checker Records in Chicago there. He wrote songs that you've been listening to all your life. And I'm going to name a few of them here. Backdoor Man, Bring It On Home, Evil, Alan Wolf. Hoochie Coochie Man, Muddy. I Ain't Suspicious. I Can't Quit You, Baby. I Just Want to Make Love to You. I Want to Be Loved. I'm Ready. Little Red Rooster. My Babe. Spoonful. The Seventh Son. Whole Lot of Love, which he wrote as You Need Love, and he and Robert Plant and those guys, they got together later on and settled their differences. And last but not least was Wang Dang Doodle by Willie Dixon. His grandson named Keith, and the side story is he was named after Keith Richards of the Rolling Stones. He didn't like that. But Keith Richards says in his book, when he walked into Chess Records back in the early 60s, he saw Muddy Waters with a paintbrush in his hand. He was painting the hallway at Chess. 1913 was the birth date in July of Joseph Williams Perkins. Anybody know who I'm talking about? Yeah, Pine Top, best known as Pine Top. He was born in Belzona. He began his career on guitar, but when he injured his tendons in his left arm in a fight with a chorus girl in Helena, he switched to piano. And at the age of 97, Pine Top became the oldest living Grammy recipient. He died just a few years ago. I'll go on to Big Jack Johnson, who was born in 1940 in July, the oil man from Clarksdale. Yeah. He drove a fuel truck for the home oil company here, and he was a member of the Nighthawks with Frank Frost and wonderful Sam Carr playing drums. They later reincarnated into the Jelly Roll Kings. Excellent juke joint music from the 50s and 60s, and you can still hear it on their albums that are still in print. You can get it on vinyl today. Also this week, 1954. We're coming on to the modern times. On July 19, 1954, Sam Phillips of Sun Records in Memphis released a new recording on this new format called the 45 RPM. The songs were That's All Right and Blue Moon of Kentucky. Now, all together now, who was the artist? Elvis Presley. The very next day, July 20, 1954, a 20-year-old Elvis Presley made his first public performance on the flatbed truck trailer in Memphis. And that, my friends, was the way it happened in July, and the rest is history. Thank you.
One more big hand for Ellis Darby, please. Yeah.
And now, Meghan Maike.
Thank you. Thank you very much. And thanks, Gary and Carol. Thanks for coming to the third Clarksdale House Party, our monthly little gathering here. It's quite a little party. So why don't I just bring it down a notch? Thank you. Thank you so much. Thanks so much for being here, everybody. And I believe that next up we have Roger Stolle.
Right. That's where you want me. Sit down, man. All right. Everybody knows Roger Stolle, don't you?
I apologize for that. Yes.
He's
How
everywhere.
you doing? Am I looking good, Coop? All right. His dad told me yesterday I need bifocals, so thank you for that. So I'm Roger Stolle. Obviously, I have Cathead, the blues store in town. Also work on things you may have heard of, like Juke Joint Festival, and occasionally blues documentaries or road trip films. And the guy I think I'm going to talk about tonight, what I've been kind of doing if you're playing catch up, this is the third show, sort of talking about some blues figures, characters that I've met since I've been in Mississippi for 15 years now. And one of them is named R.L. Boyce. And you may or may not be familiar with Mr. R.L., but he is an absolute character, capital T, capital C rather. I can't spell, since I'm... But he, I think I met him through Lightning and Malcolm, Steve Lightning and Malcolm. And the first yard party, he's known for these yard parties in Como, Mississippi. And I should point out, he's not really out in the country. It's sort of like a neighborhood, about 2 streets off of Main Street. So some of these things that I may describe, I'll try to keep to the legal ones. But keep in mind, they're like in a neighborhood. So the very first time we went there, it wasn't much of a party, just some people playing out front. And the subject of beverages came up. I believe it was a Sunday, and they couldn't even sell beer in Como. So it was strongly suggested that if he was going to play for us out in the yard, then we needed to go on a little run to pick up some white whiskey. So I'm like, whatever it takes. Hey, I'm all in. I'm willing to donate my time and volunteer. So my car was parked in, so this other gentleman who clearly could not drive his car for various reasons at that point had his car there, which I drove. And I will say, like, keeping it on the road because of the steering wheel situation, all kinds of other malfunctions was challenging. We pull up out in the country to this moonshiner, apparently. I'm kind of a city boy. You could say I'm a Yankee, although it is Southern Ohio that I'm from originally. So I jumped out of the car a little too quickly and talked a little too quickly. So let's just say there was nothing to purchase there. He didn't know nothing about nothing. So I get back in the car with this guy who can barely stand, and he turns to me completely sober, let's say, and he's like, let me do the talking next time. So I was corrected. So we go up the road, stop again, he does the talking, and of course it's like a distillery in there. I mean, there's stuff everywhere that you could buy. So anyway, we get back to Mr. Boyce's, and I'm not suggesting he does any of this anymore. There happens to be law enforcement here. This is 8 years ago. We get there, and now he's fueled. So now the music kind of starts. It starts going. People just start showing up kind of out of the neighborhood. And it's a yard party. It's a blues yard party, just the real kind of thing you would read about in a history book. So it's kind of going along. Suddenly, out of nowhere, these 2 shirtless cowboys show up, and they're riding bareback in a neighborhood because they hear this music. So it's like, okay, well, that's interesting. That passes, and I didn't even know what to ask. It's like, oh, but hey, So that kind of passes, and then a school bus pulls up, and I think it was a short bus, and there's music blaring out of the school bus. And I won't name the gentleman because I actually know him who was in there. He, does the thing, opens the doors, he's in there drinking a tall boy. He's like, you got to come see the stereo I put in my school bus. So there's some happy kids somewhere in Como, is all I can say. So these are all kind of happening in the daytime. It starts to get a little later in the day, and one of the things I will absolutely say about the Boyces, Mr. R.L. Boyce and his wife Sheila, is they're just so hospitable. I mean, they will always feed you. Okay, you buy the drinks, but they bring the food. So, at one point there's pork steaks coming out, and you're kind of hungry at that point. So the pork steaks are coming out, you're eating, this is great. Let's just say 10 minutes into that scene, someone comes flying out the screen door. Don't eat the meat. Don't eat the meat. It's got worms in it. Now, anybody who knows me knows that I carry hand sanitizer with me. I mean, I'm not into that scene. So I'm like, oh my God, I've eaten all of the meat. So, I'm worried like the entire evening and into the next week, frankly, about that. So that's kind of percolating in my mind. Now it's starting to get darker out. And it's starting to cool down. So it wasn't night, but it was like dark here, and then you kind of look up and you can see light in the sky. So out of nowhere, these 2 guys show up with tires, because, when you're cold, obviously what you do is have a tire fire. So they throw these tires down, and like one guy does it like he does it all the time. They like land it perfectly, 2 tires. Another guy has the charcoal lighter fluid and just, all kinds of petroleum products going on right here. Lights it, and you've never seen so much smoke, except maybe on the nightly news. It was like Beirut. It was unreal, and you could see it going off into the light. And I didn't even mention my buddy Jeff Conkle, who I do a lot of the film projects with and stuff. He was there, and I turned to him and said, Jeff, we really need to straighten up because the police are coming, the fire department, somebody's coming. This is unbelievable. But apparently they do that all the time, so it's just not really, a thing. So we're kind of worried about the environment a little bit and the police and things of that nature. The music starts going though, keeps going, it's great. The tires are burning down, and they burn really hot, by the way, and completely, all the way down to the metal belts. And so Miss Sheila comes flying out with the solution, which of course would be the sofa cushions, because why wouldn't you burn the sofa cushions? So they burned the sofa cushions, and I feel like even some bedding came out after that. And then it was starting to get kind of exhausted. They were running out of things in the house, apparently. So I got the brilliant idea. You know, I went to college, and I'm like, Jeff, you know what I have in the back of my van? I have all these stacked, crushed boxes. Mark, if you're still here, this is before there was recycling. I'll just say that. So I'm like, you know, I got to do something with these. I was waiting to find somebody's dumpster somewhere or something. And I'm like, yeah, let's burn that. It's a paper product. Makes sense. We'll show them how it's done. Get a big stack of that, throw it on what's left of the fire. So it gets going. At first, you're kind of the heroes. And then suddenly, you know, corrugated cardboard, what it does, it breaks off in layers that just start floating off like little birds into the night, you know, glowing embers, and landing on a house and in the trees. And so it was time for us to go. And we did. But I will say, even though we almost burned down their house and maybe complained about the worms and the meat, you know, the voices are always there when we need them, and you can see them in M for Mississippi and Moonshine and Mojo Hands, different film projects we've done. For some reason, they keep talking to us. And, of course, he plays Juke Joint Festival every year here in Clarksdale, Mississippi. So that is what I've got for you tonight, and I appreciate you listening in. Oh, he'll also be at the Deep Blues Festival, which if you don't know what that is, it's in October. It's awesome. It's a mix of that kind of real deal hill country blues and then some stuff that kind of rocks out a little bit of folky kind of stuff. So the Deep Blues Festival, you can always go to cathead.biz, click on my music calendar page. You'll find all of the festivals, and there's like 15 now in Clarksdale during a given year. So there you have it.
Lucious is going to play a couple more songs for you. Is that cool?
Like I say, when I was saying my acoustic blues CD, I was talking about Born to Sing the Blues. Well, you can't see it from there, but that's me on the cover. You'll see it closer when you come up and get one from me. Me and my mom, I'm on guitar right there. All right, here's the title track from my acoustic blues CD. It's called Born to Sing the Blues. Listen to Power, you hear my story about it. I was born to sing the blues. I was born to sing the blues. You know the blues are part of me, from my head down to my shoes. Just a little boy, my daddy taught me the blues. He got me my first guitar, that's when I started paying dues. But now that I'm older, everyone can see the blues are part of me. That's my destiny. I was born to sing the blues. You know the blues are part of me, from my head down to my shoes. At the age of 5, I learned Jimmy Reed's You Don't Have to Go. Before I was 6, I was playing Sweet Home Chicago. I was born to sing the blues. You know the blues are part of me, from my head down to my shoes. The blues can make you sad, because the blues ain't nothing but a good man feeling bad. Oh yeah, I was born to sing the blues. You know the blues are part of me, from my head down to my shoe. Oh yeah. God bless you. Thank you very much. Lucious Spiller.
Once again, it makes my heart so filled with joy to see my friends all come in here and share the Clarksdale House Party with us. Thanks for coming out, y'all. And everybody out in Radio Land, they're coming to Clarksdale.
Vincent Productions, the Clarksdale Soundstage, and the Clarksdale House Party would like to thank XRDS.FM for their continued support. We hope that you'll keep on tuning in locally here in Clarksdale on Rocket 88.1 on your FM dial.